Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me. Yes, oh great. So let's start today's session, which is based on filters. Now, as our name suggests that it is based on annotation, which is a new part in Java EE 6. Earlier filters were used to work on deployment descriptor, which I am not going to discuss today. So let's start. What is a filter? Anybody having idea about filter? Please write it on the chat window if possible. Yes, quickly on chat window, please. Let me pronounce the names. Balaji, Bob, Ivan, Christina, Sachin, Shashank, Vadushi, Victor. Could you write on the chat window if anyone having idea about the filter in any form? Okay, Christina has given an answer. She says that a filter is a rule. If met, then the I believe data continues forward. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Whenever you do something, so filter means either you are allowed to be in or you are not allowed. For example, take about authentication in any system. If you have passed through login and do proper login and password, then it says you are allowed to log in. Otherwise, it says not. You are not allowed. That's the one use of a filter, and we will discuss more of it. So let's go for the first basic definition. It says a filter intercepts a request before it gets to the requested resource. So that's what it is, like authentication filter, example of it. A response is returned to the client through the filter. So the way you get in is the similar way you came out. Let's look at the example here. Now, look at the whole diagram. Let's understand it. Client. On the left hand side, it says client is your web browser. Could be anything. Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Chrome, whatever. So it sends a request. It says now it is looking for some resource on the server. The resource is on your very right hand side. It's known as servlet. So web browser is looking for a servlet. Now here in between, you get that servlet request and the object gets deleted. So in between, filter came into picture. Now how the filter get implemented? It says whenever you are looking for some URL, it says that I will get in, I will check out that are you a proper user or not in the case of authentication. And it will say that I will allow you to get the access of the servlet, execute it, and you can have the output to the client. Otherwise, it will say no. Now, authentication is not the only purpose of a filter. There are a lot of other criteria where filter can be helpful. We will discuss that too. Here you can have multiple filters. For example, F1 filter is used for authenticating the user. F2 could be used for performance of a servlet. Like whenever you get in, you log the time, and when you come out, then F2 is logging the time. So in between, it checks out the time, that how much time it took to send a request and get the response out of it. So that is a performance filter we talked about. Third one, it could be a logging filter. There are a lot of ways which you can use it. Now, you can even do it this way, like you have suppose 4 filters. For servlet 1, you need only F2 and F3. For servlet 2, you need F2, F3, F4. For For servlet 3, you need F3, F1, F3, and F4. This is okay. So I'm not. Filter can be done in 2 ways. Using Java EE5, you look at the top one. This is called deployment descriptor. We are not discussing this method today. We are only discussing how to do it in Java EE6. So that was our main motive today. But I'll probably go back also a little bit if possible. These are the filters. Use of filter. One is authenticating, logging and auditing. You can convert the image, like on server it has been stored in probably in a BMP format. You want to change it to JPEG. That can also done. Data compression, localization, transforming the response, servlet performance, which I was talking about. Even you can transform the data. So it is used to transform your data as well. Any question before I go for the demos on Eclipse? Is the idea of a filter is clear? Question. Yeah, is it clear the idea of filter? Why we use filter? Yes, Ivan, Vadushi, Christina, Shashank. Is it clear? Shweta, Sachin, Victor. Am I audible? Yeah, someone has raised the hand. Let me see. You have a question.
No, it's clear.
Oh, great. You raised the hand. I thought you have some question. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Yes, perfectly clear. Oh, great. Now, let's implement it. Now, let's see which diagram we implement. So probably the best idea is look at the diagram and try to implement it. So we will go with the filter one. This is the diagram which we will try to do. So we will create a servlet here, which is on the very right hand side. And here we will have a filter, which is which will get into action before someone have the access of a servlet. Let's do that. So let me create a project for us for this demonstration. Dynamic web project. I hope you have. I'm assuming that you have some idea about servlets. So I'll say filter demo. So here I'm taking 7.0, which supports annotations. You have some Apache Tomcat 6.0 also. Sorry. You have Apache 6.60 also, which implements 2.5 version, and that does not support annotation. That is, we call it as Java EE5. So this is optional. Anyway, I'm not going to discuss this, but still I'll have it. Now the first thing which we need to create is a servlet. Just for saving time, I'm just going to copy that so that I don't have to write it. So I will change it to servlets. Okay, that's great. So I don't need. I don't need that. Whizlabs main website, something like this. Now, I'll say any page, index, something like this. Now, this is my index page. So, someone want to have access to my web page, so they have to look for this. So, let's run this web page first. Go step by step. Run the servlet. Just see if the basic things are okay. So yes, this one is good enough. So now what I'm going to do is, so what we have done so far is, from the client browser, we have accessed the servlet, which of course it has servlet request and servlet response. Now the next step which we are going to do is put a filter in between, just to check out. Now we are putting a kind of a wall in between. If a browser or a client want to access my servlet here, it is in nothing but index, then it has to go through a filter. So we'll talk about it. Let's run this first. So you have something known as index over here. So whenever this URL came into picture, someone look for the index, immediately filter should come in between. Let's see how we can do that. So right click on the source folder, go to new, and I'll create a filter here. So let's give a name of the package, com.whizlabs.filters. This is the package which I have created. So I can write authentication filter. So something like this I want to do. So just wanted to see that it is as soon as if someone has the proper authentication, then only they will be able to have this. I can change the name of this URL if I want to. I will write URL patterns. That we will see what does mean by URL pattern. So here, so I have created a filter. So let's see the parts of a filter first. Anyway, I don't need. Let's delete this. Let's delete it through. Keeping this as such. It has three methods here. One is known as init. If you want to initialize some parameters or filter configuration, in servlet we have servlet config, here we have filter config. I'll not get into this either. And then you have to do, in servlet you have something known as init, service, destroy. Init for initializing some parameters, here also the same. Do filter is to do your processing, and destroy means if everything is done, destroy the instance of that filter so that someone else can utilize that memory. So today we are going to discuss only about the do filter. So just let me cut this. As soon as it says that add the unimplemented method, now all those unimplemented methods it will come from an interface known as filter. So that's what I want to talk about. Now, is it clear till here? Till this point, is everything clear? Before I move forward, give me the quick answer, please, on the questions panel, on the chat window. Great. Thank you very much. So let's move forward now. Now, place your code here. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, this line is very important. It is in a commutative form. It says pass a request along with the filter chain. So means this is the line chain.doFilter. It will pass your request along with the chain. Now, what is the chain over here? Let's talk about. Let's come to the diagram here. Client will send the request to whenever it wants access to the servlet. The first thing in between came out is your filter. After that comes to servlet. So it is a chain of two hops. One is filter, second one is servlet. Similarly, you can have this as well. You have a chain of 3 filters and 1 servlet. So there are 4 hops comes into picture. 3 filters and 1 servlet. So this is what we call chain is all about. And who forward the request, keep on moving the request. That line is known as chain.doFilter. Suppose if I comment this line, So what will happen is the request will come to the filter 1, and filter 1 does not have any form of code which can forward your request further. So what will happen is your request will go and meet a dead end at the filter 1 itself, and the response will be sent back to the browser. Does not move forward. Does not go to F2, does not go to F3, does not go to servlet. This is what change is all about. I'll prove that by using some code. So let's write something. So just to write something, I'll use a code. Print writer, I think you must be knowing, is that to write on internet you will find it like out. So here I will write out dot print ln. So filter in. So I'm getting into the filter, and as soon as I'm, my request is out, is called filter out. Let's see that through the diagram. So your request comes to filter 1. It says filter in. It goes to the servlet. It will give you. Let's go to the previous diagram. That will be good. So when a request comes to the filter, it says filter in. It will print over here. Then chain. Chain means it will pass the request to further person or further servlet or filter. It goes to servlet. Servlet gets executed. Whatever the data that's supposed to come from the servlet, it will come, get printed. And once you are going out from the filter, it says filter out. This is what the output we are expressing. So filter it, then it will print this, that welcome get servlet design, and after that it should write filter out. So this is the output which we are expecting. Let's run this and see what output we get. And actually it does not give us the output. The reason behind it is, let's move. What the thing need to be changed is this URL pattern. Now, currently, this filter says, authentication filter says that whenever someone asks for authentication filter as a URL. Now let's run this first again. Now what is the URL pattern over here? It says index. But our filter says that I will execute when my URL will be authentication filter. This is what it is expecting. So we need to change it to that, please. There is nothing called authentication filter as a URL. So the URL that client will ask for is index. Whenever this comes, at that time only you need to execute. So your URL will be index. Let's run this and see the output here. That's what it is. It says filter array. It prints whatever comes from the servlet, and then it says filter out. Am I clear here, please? Give me the answer on the chat window. Yes, great, great. Evelyn, Vadushi, Ivan, Christina, is that clear? Please give me on the chat window, just to know that everyone is on the same page. Sachin, no, I did not get the difference. Okay, what I'm allowing you, Christina, I think a good idea is I'm putting you on unmute. You can speak out. Yes, Christina, could you speak out and let me know what you didn't understand? I don't know how did it happen. Okay, we'll discuss that too. Christina, could you speak out? I have unmuted you. Okay. How does the filter get involved in it's not declared open method, overtime methods? Okay. Oh, great. Okay, okay. I got your idea. Now, let's understand that. Let's change this back to something else. Now, everything matters is your URL, your URL pattern. So, say I will say maybe abc.html. So, everything that matters is your URL. So, I will say abc.html is my URL. So, when I run this, abc.html, it will have access to this servlet. It is up to this point. Is that clear? That how the servlet is invoked, Christina? Sachin, is that clear up till this thing? Okay, great. So it says abc.html. Now here, let's close this. Close this as well. Now, come here. Let's look at this diagram. So the URL for servlet is abc.html, and client on the browser, which is Internet Explorer in my case, it looks for the servlet and that will come over here. Now, if the filter has to come in between, it should be in sync with whatever the URL is of servlet. Client, when access client will never access your filter. It will always access your resource, which is servlet in this case. That is abc.html. Okay. Now, so if you want that filter should also get accessed in between client and servlet, it should have exactly the same URL which servlet has. Then only client, when it starts to access abc.html, filter will also have the same URL. The filter always comes first, so abc.html, filter will get executed, then servlet, then data. So let's do that again. So if I currently authentication filter is not getting executed as right in our case, we can check it out, because the URL of filter and the URL of servlet are different. That's why they do not come in between each other. So they will come in sequence only when the URL of both are same. So here you need to make the URL same as my servlet. So when this starts executing my servlet, the filter, as it having the same URL of servlet, filter get executed first and then it was servlet. So let's run this. I got it. Oh, great, Christina. Thank you very much. That was my motive to make everyone understand. Now, so filter in, get servlet design, and filter out. Sachin, I think you also had a question. Is it clear to you now? Sachin Gupta. Are you there, Sachin? Is it clear to you or any other question you have? Great. Great, great. Thank you very much. So this was the first part of executing it with the help of an annotation. So let's look at this and see you can have more than one filter. If suppose I want to have more filter, what I can do is I can create one more filter. Okay, before doing that, let's do something else as well. Now maybe I'm I'm just writing it over here. If true, you can check out like if username is equal to this and password is equal to this. Then what you do is you will say So that's all. So here it says maybe some true, you check your condition like username and password, and you check out if it comes to be true, you say that filter in and I'm passing on the request. And if it is false, then you do not have this chain filter over here and it does not allow you to have the output. Let's run this. You will not find the difference over here. There won't be any difference as far as the output is concerned. Filter in, okay. Just hold on. Let's make some changes here. Filter in. Authenticated, something like this. So if something is true, it will say filter in authenticated, it will give you the output of that servlet, abc.html. It will give you this output and then it comes out. And second time, so let's run this, then the case is true. Not big difference, filter in authenticated, this is the output of the servlet and says filter out. Now, second one. If this one is false, that means this is not going to get executed. You don't have chain do filter in this. So that means it's not going to forward your request to the servlet and your servlet will not get executed. Let's run this. This is not authenticated. So your servlet hasn't got executed. The reason because it executed that part which did not have this. This is a way you can stop the request or maybe unauthenticated request at some place that sorry, I cannot let you in to access my resources on the server. Is that clear to everyone? Tushi, Sachin, Christina. Yes, great, great, great. Balaji, Bob, Shweta, Shashank. Is that clear to everyone? Great, great. Thank you very much. So this is what very basic filter is all about. I can have one more filter as maybe I can say just shortage of time. I have to copy paste it. I hope you understand that. So I'll say here filter 2. I will say filter 2 here. And now the URL has to be exactly the same. The reason behind that is you are accessing the servlet to this abc.html and you want two filters. Which diagram we are trying to implement? This diagram. We are trying to have F1 as well as F2. Let's say. So let's say that let me take everything out. So here I'll say maybe true. That's okay. Run as. So you have filter in. So your first filter in, authenticated filter. authenticated. This comes from, okay, this, what we'll do is, we have not done, just give me a second please. Sorry for this interruption. So let's do one thing. We have not done one part over here. I will include the BR so that you can see the proper output. This is coming from authentication filter. And here also I will write the same thing. So let's do it output here. So you have filter in, authenticated. So this one came in. Look at authentication filter here. Filter in this one, it forward the request. Now then who comes to the next in the chain is filter 2. It says filter 2 in. So you get filter 2 in. And then it will pass on the request to the next one in chain. Who is the next one in the chain? It is my servlet. This one get executed. That's what your is. And once this one is done, look at the diagram. So filter 1, filter 2, servlet. Now servlet filter 2, final part has to be executed, which comes after the chain, which is called filter 2 out. You will get the output here as filter 2 out. And then is the authentication filter, filter out. So that's how the chain works for the filters. Okay, I got a question, sorry, but for me screen freezes a lot. Whom should I talk? Raj, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sachin says that his screen freezes a lot when I'm demonstrating.
Okay. Sachin, please close your other programs. There might be a chance whether you are running multiple programs on your computer while attending this session. So the best possible solution is close all other programs and then keep this open, and I hope this will work fine.
Now,
all right,
Christina
Sachin?
has asked.
Yeah.
Christina has asked another question. It says, is it enough to annotate a filter with the same URL? Could it even be deployed in another application and still filter the URL? Now, there's a way to do it. Let me rephrase this question. Now, you could have this servlet maybe. Now, look at this. What was your actual output? Your actual output was only this one. And you have modified the output by doing this, by putting your own statement like this. So now sometimes it could happen that the data from which you are getting may not be in your program. Like my servlet, which is the data or executing servlet, it's not in your application. It could be in some other application, or maybe you are getting the output from using web services from some other website. So, but whatever the output that that servlet provides to you, you may not be happy with it. You say that I want to add something more to that output. So what you do is, this is your actual thing. It comes from a web services, and you add whatever you want with that output. So by this way, your servlet is executing somewhere else. Using the web services, you are getting the output from that servlet into your application. You put the filters, you filter whatever way you wanted it to be, and finally you are presenting the output, the format, the way you want it to be to the customer. Is it clear to you, Christina? Does it make sense to you? The answer? Okay, so the answer is yes. Great. So that's what it is. The data which you are getting or a servlet which you are executing, it may not be in your application. Using web services, you can get it from anywhere. Now, so I hope things are quite clear to you. Let's have some question and answer round. Also, did I know? I didn't know. Get how do you order? Oh, yes. Now there are two ways. One thing I haven't taught you, which is deployment descriptor. But by here, which one got executed first is the authentication filter. If you are using the annotation, the filter will be ordered in alphabetical way. So yeah, according to alphabets, this A comes first and F filter comes second. But if you want to make the change, like you want to say that filter 2 should get executed first and authentication filter should execute second. In that case, there is no way you can do it with the help of annotations. Then you need to go to the old way, which is using web.xml. Probably I don't have the time to teach that. But here you can write, there's something known as filter and all those. You can use filter mapping and you can order the way you want. There's another topic which I need some time to discuss. But yes, you can, this is called DD, deployment descriptor. You can order the way you wanted it to be. But with annotations, it is alphabetical order. Am I clear over here, Christina? Okay, thanks. Great. Let's have some questions now. So, there's something. Let me show you that. This one. This is called deployment descriptor Java EE5. So you need to do it in this way. Probably I don't have the time to discuss that. Probably I wish I could have, but you can understand that. Now, so let's discuss some of the questions. Now, the one thing we will discuss. So when you do filter, destroy does not have any parameter. Init will have a filter config as a parameter. Here you have servlet request, response, and chain as a parameter. And those are two kind of exception. This is a signature which we can look for. So the first question comes from this one we have not discussed. So let's do this way. What are the parameters of the toFilter method in the filter interface? Choose one of the multiple below. Give me the answer on the chat window, please. Quick fire answer, please. What is the answer for the fourth question? What are the parameters? Give me the answer. Is it A, is it B, is it C, or is it D? Is it going to be A? So the answer for this is A. I got answer from multiple candidates. Great, thank you. Now, so question number 6. What are the methods of the filter interface that I showed earlier? So what is the answer? A, B, C, or D? Kudushi has given okay. Others, please. Christina, Bob, no, it's B, maybe it's A. Okay. The answer for this is filter interface has. If I look at this, filter interface has three methods. One is destroy, do filter, and init. Init get executed first, then the do filter get executed, and then the destroy get executed. So answer for this is init, do filter, and destroy. I hope this is quite clear. So let's go for a more sensitive question. Now, could you give me the answer for the 7th question? It's a bit tougher than the previous questions. Is it going to be A, B, C, or D? Indirect way, I have explained this, given the answer for this question few moments back. Okay, D. Bob says A. Okay. Anyone is going for B or C? Okay. B. Okay, let's discuss this. This is a bit tricky question. A filter is a reusable piece of code. Is it reusable? The answer, if I look at this diagram, let's discuss this diagram. So I'm using this, suppose filter 2 for servlet 1 also, and filter 2 for servlet 2 also. Similarly, filter 3 I'm using for all the 3. Filter 4 I'm using for this. So it's a reusable. I'm using for different purposes. So this is transfer the content of HTTP request. Now, how do you transform the content? You are transforming the content like this. Sorry. You are adding this filter in authenticated. This was not the actual content from the servlet. You are adding this. Yes, that's the one thing. So A is correct. Filter do not generally create a response and respond to a request and submit. This is filter normally does not get used to create the content. Content means well, suppose let's run this. So this filter in authenticated, this all is the content which we have generated. Actual output was only this. So it's not normally used for generating content, but if it is required, you can do that too. No, it says do not generally create. So generally it is used for like measuring the performance of a filter, doing the authentication work, do the logging work. That does not generally create the content on the web page. All those things are done on the background. But still, if you want to generate the content, like the way I explained earlier, that from web service you are getting the data, you want to present to the customer in a different way, yes, you can do that. Third one, filters can act on a dynamic data or a static. Dynamic is servlet, static content could be your static pages, yes. So the answer for this is all of them. Am I clear with this? Before I give my access to Raj. Yes. Vadushi, Bob, Ivan. Is it clear to everyone, please? Yes, great. Thank you so much. So there is a lot of other questions which need to be discussed, like this is deployment script, a lot of other things which could have done, but there is a time limitation, as you do understand. Thanks very much for the participation.